In the Amazon rainforest, a group of filmmakers go on a dangerous mission to capture the legendary giant Anaconda on camera. But they soon discover that they are the ones being hunted. What do you think happens next? Watch until the end to find out. Terry Flores is an aspiring filmmaker who was hired by Professor Stephen Cale to shoot a documentary on a mysterious tribe called the Shimishama. They meet each other at a riverside motel in Brazil, where they talk about the details. The next morning, Terry meets with her friend and cameraman Danny Rich, and Cale hires Mateo, a local man who will have to pilot the crew's boat through the waters in the Amazon rainforest. Besides these three guys, three others join the group, and they are the film's on-screen narrator, Warren Westridge, Gary Dixon, who is a sound technician, and Denise Carlberg, who is a production manager for the movie. And the expedition finally starts. Later on the first day, a heavy storm breaks, and the crew members hear how somebody is calling for help. They find a man who is stuck on a broken boat, and they agree to take him on their boat. The man's name is Paul Cerrone, and he assures the crew that he lives from catching snakes, but that he is not a poacher. Even though they have doubts, and Cerrone looks suspicious, the crew chooses to believe him. He even says that he already saw the tribes the filmmakers are looking for, and he agrees to guide them. While the boat floats down the river, the crew sees a snake totem, about which Cerrone insists is Shimishama. He will even gain more trust points after saving Gary and Denise from an attacking wild boar, while these two were trying to record some sounds ashore. The crew will face more problems the next day when the boat's rope gets tangled around the propeller. Cale dives into the water to try and fix the problem, but suddenly he experiences a strange attack. He is dragged into the boat by Danny and Gary, who find some kind of wasp inside Cale's mouth. And while Cale is struggling to breathe, Cerrone comes to the rescue once again. He saves his life by performing an emergency tracheotomy. As Cale's life is in danger, Cerrone warns the others that they must take him to the hospital, and according to him, the best way is through the tributary of the river. Even with doubt, Terry agrees with this, but soon after, the crew is faced with another challenge. The boat's way is blocked by some kind of wall across the water, and Cerrone manages to convince the others that the best way to get rid of this obstacle is to use dynamite. But after the explosive has been detonated, the boat gets covered by many smaller snakes. The explosion also frees the fuel barrels from the boat's deck, which are all now drowned in the water. Now, the crew needs to smash that like and subscribe button. I mean, to find more fuel to continue their journey and save Cale's life, who is now in a coma. They manage to find an abandoned ship where Cerrone and Danny and Mateo find some stuff they think they can use on the boat, but unfortunately, no fuel. As Cerrone and Danny are carrying the trunk back to the boat, Mateo falls into the water, where he is attacked by a giant snake. The snake soon wraps Mateo and starts breaking his bones. The creature then opens its jaws and eats the boat's captain. As nobody knows what happened to Mateo, Danny turns back trying to find him, but the only thing he finds is his torch. Cerrone tells the crew that Mateo became a snack for the Anaconda, but Terry insists they should wait for him to appear until the morning. But during the night, Cerrone starts to develop his evil plan to capture the Anaconda and tries to convince Gary that a snake of that size can be worth a real fortune. Even though he is not sure, Gary lends an ear to what Cerrone is telling him, and that's how he signs his death warrant. That night, Cerrone starts his snake fishing plan by killing a monkey, which he will try to use as bait. Gary chose Cerrone's side, while the rest resist. However, Cerrone prevents the attempted rebellion by pulling a gun from his pocket. The snake bites the bait, and it rises from the water. While Cerrone is struggling with the creature, Gary is trying to blind it with the boat's reflector. But the snake manages to free itself and throws at Westridge the dead monkey. The snake next chases Terry through the boat and knocks Denise with its tail into the water. Gary dives into the water to save Denise, but it is him who becomes a victim. The anaconda wraps around his body and eats him. Terry tries to shoot the snake to save Gary, but Cerrone knocks her gun out of the way, as he wants to catch the animal alive. This leaves poor Denise heartbroken and in tears. The next we see is Westridge, who manages to knock Cerrone into unconsciousness by hitting him with a golf club. so the crew finally overpowers the bad guy and ties him up. The next day, the crew faces another big obstacle when their boat becomes stuck at a waterfall. As Terry, Danny, and Westridge enter the water to try to release the boat, up on deck, Denise confronts Cerrone and tries to kill him to avenge Gary's death, but Cerrone manages to get her with her legs and strangle her. He then dumps her corpse into the water. The Anaconda appears again and attacks the 3 crew members who are in the water. Westridge tries to distract the monster by climbing the waterfall, so Terry and Danny can return to the boat. Plenty of things happen during this mess. First, Cerrone breaks free and attacks Danny and Terry. He even manages to injure Danny by stabbing him in the leg. On the other side, the Anaconda climbs on a tree trying to reach Westridge, who is hiding beside the waterfall. As Westridge jumps, the snake catches him and starts breaking his bones. But the tree breaks and it falls on the boat. Now all the crew members are in the water, and Cale finally wakes up. Westridge is killed from the fall, and the snake now attacks Danny. Terry will save him by shooting the snake in the head. Cerrone is still convinced that he can capture the Anaconda alive and attacks Terry, but Cale is on his feet and stabs him with a tranquilizer dart before he loses consciousness again. Cerrone has fallen into the water and sunk, but in case you think he's dead, Danny is saying, "Damn, the dart fell out of his back!" So, yes, he's still alive, and moments later he catches up to the group and captures Terry and Danny, dumping a bucket of animal blood on them so he can use them as bait for another female Anaconda queen. When the snake finally appears and tries to suffocate them, Cerrone tries to catch the animal by using a net, but his trap breaks and now the snake is after him. The bad guy is finally finished as the snake swallows him whole, and while this is happening, Danny and Terry manage to free themselves from the bonds. Seconds later, the Anaconda starts chasing Terry, who finds herself surrounded in a nest full of little anacondas. The snake continues to chase Terry and throws up Cerrone's body. While Terry is trying to reach the top of the building by climbing a ladder, Danny pins the snake's tail to the ground with a pickaxe and sets the creature on fire. The explosion sends the burning snake into the water, and Terry and Danny are trying to take a breath on the nearby dock. But just like in many movies like this, it happens again. One last stress. Just as anyone might imagine, the Anaconda resurfaces, but Danny delivers the final blow by killing it with an axe to the head. In the end, the pair reunites with Cale on the boat, who is finally feeling a little bit better. And while they start floating again down the river, they finally see the Shirishama tribe they were originally seeking. So the crew concludes that Cerrone was right. And again, they start filming the planned documentary movie. Subscribe for more videos like this, and turn on the notifications so you'll never miss any of them.